Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you guys are all having a great day today. So in our last Mortal Kombat video, we talked about the backstory of Mortal Kombat 2. So today, we're going to talk about the expanded backstory, thanks to the Mortal Kombat 2 tie-in comic, released by Midway all the way back in 1993. See, back during this time period, the cartridges that were used for games suffered from some serious lack of storage capacity issues, making it damn near impossible to create a game with a compelling backstory. So to compensate for that, Midway released tie-in comics with the first, the second, and the fourth Mortal Kombat games. But let's get started. So the fact that the first thing that we see when the comic opens up is a full page of Sonya, Johnny, and Kano fighting Goro is a pretty good indicator that the proverbial shit has hit the fan. And it's crazy enough that all three of them are fighting Goro, but what makes it even crazier is, well, Sonya Blade and Kano fighting on the same side. Now, it explains that when Liu Kang defeated Goro, Shang Tsung was pissed and challenged him himself. And while they were fighting, since Liu Kang pulled a Goku and spared Goro's life, Shang Tsung was able to order Goro and his minions to go after the other survivors because he was not about to allow them to get off of his island with their souls. So Johnny, Sonya, and Kano got Goro, while Raiden, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion had to deal with the rest of Shang Tsung's warriors. Now, Goro's a problem in a one-on-one fight, clearly. But three of them were clearly winning the fight when there was an explosion, and the bridge that they're fighting on collapsed. And while Johnny was able to grab onto the bridge, or what was left of it, and save himself, the other three were not so lucky. So Sonya, Kano, and Goro all fell, consumed by the explosion. Johnny couldn't hold on for long, though, and he lost his grip. But as he was falling, Raiden swooped in out of nowhere like Superman and grabbed him by his arm. And as they were flying, trying to get as far away from the island as possible, Raiden explained to him what was happening. So the island itself had been held together by Shang Tsung's existence, and it had started to self-destruct because during his fight with Liu Kang, Shang Tsung had been killed, and Liu Kang had managed to escape the island already. After Raiden, Sub-Zero, and Scorpion finished their fight against Shang Tsung's warriors, Scorpion killed Sub-Zero and then disappeared into a burst of flames. And Raiden was carrying Johnny Cage to a portal that he had created so they could get away from the island, or so they could escape the island. But just as they passed through it, there was an explosion, and Johnny found himself floating in the middle of the East China Sea, alone, waiting to either be rescued or to get eaten by sharks. So as Johnny is laying there, floating around by himself, on the horizon he spots a boat with an American flag, so he knows that he's about to get rescued. And while you could say he was rescued, I think that in this instance it would be better to say he was captured, because I don't speak from experience, but I'm pretty sure that rescuing somebody doesn't involve a boat full of armed soldiers pointing their guns at them. But I could be wrong. But so they bring him back to the base to be questioned by Jax. And while Johnny explains everything that I've explained to you so far, 5 times apparently, Jax refuses to believe him. The boat showed up because they were actually responding to a distress signal that they had received from Sonya. And when they got there, all that they found was this random dude floating in the middle of the ocean. So he was seriously trying to convince Jax that Sonya had fought alongside Kano, which is crazy because this is Kano that their entire special forces unit was trying to capture. So no, it's not going to happen. He doesn't believe it. Thankfully, though, Jax's partner was paying attention and he believed Johnny, and he convinces Jax to allow him to go. So the story shifts to Outworld, and we learn that when Shang Tsung and Goro had traveled or arrived at the Shaolin Temple 500 years ago, they'd been sent by Shao Kahn, and their mission was to unbalance the Furies, whatever the hell they are, um, because doing so would allow Kahn to cross through the dimensional gates and bring Earth under his control. And obviously, Shang Tsung failed. And there were some people there that were not very happy about this. So you see this guy right here, this big guy with 4 arms right here with the crown. This is Gorbak. This is the king of the Shokan, who also coincidentally just happens to be Goro's father. You remember Goro, the guy that fell into the explosion when the bridge collapsed? Yeah, him. So, anyways, Goro's dead, and Pops is pissed, and he blames Shang Tsung and demands that Shao Kahn allow him to bring Shang Tsung back to his kingdom so he can execute him publicly. And while Shao Kahn is not happy about Goro being killed, this is definitely not his priority at this point. See, Shao Kahn's problem is this, right? His power is growing, but his realm isn't. So he needs more room for his power to expand. And the only way to expand and to get more room is to expand his domain by conquering another realm. So he needs Earth, or reach his limit in power pretty much. So he kind of needs Shang Tsung, so he gives him one last chance to give him a reason of why he should spare his life. And then Shang Tsung's plan is actually pretty simple. Basically, it's just to challenge Earth's warriors to another Mortal Kombat. He can create a portal, travel there, issue the challenge, and as a bonus, the portal would be large enough for a small army to pass through, allowing him to get revenge on the Shaolin Temple, since that is who Shang Tsung feels should be held responsible for Goro's death. But there's always a but. In order to accomplish this, Shao Kahn would need to restore Shang Tsung's power. So Shao Kahn asks his Shadow Priest about what lies in his future if he allows Shang Tsung to execute this plan. And dude is like, well, I mean, it might work. If it works, cool. I mean, but doing this would go against the Elder God's wishes. So if it works, your power will be unmatched. But if you fail, you don't want to fail. Failure is just not an option at this point. Despite that, and despite Shang Tsung's previous two failures, Shao Kahn goes along with the plan and restores Shang Tsung's health, and then Shang Tsung gets some of his buddies, Kentaro, Katana, Melina, and Baraka, and then some other soldiers, and opens a portal, and then they make their way to Earthrealm. Now, back at the Special Forces base, somehow, I don't know how, I don't know how this worked, but Sonya Blade managed to get a message sent to Jax explaining that she was trapped in Outworld. She was with Kano. He needs to find Johnny Cage and Liu Kang because Outworld is coming. This and that and this and that. And since this message pretty much confirms what Johnny Cage had been telling him the entire time, he now believes him. So they pack up and they start making their way towards Hollywood. So like I said, the part of Shang Tsung's plan involved getting revenge on the Shaolin Temple. So what he does is he opens up a portal and unleashes a horde of Outworld soldiers and warriors onto the temple. That way, whenever Liu Kang finally gets back from the previous tournament, when he gets home, all that he finds is a destroyed temple littered with the bodies of all of his Shaolin brothers who had been slaughtered by the horde of Outworld soldiers. And as he is vowing to get revenge, he's not alone because another member of the White Lotus Society named Kung Lao appears, and after a brief conversation, they both agree that they're going to go to Outworld to get revenge, or that they're going to get revenge. But then, much to their surprise, a hover jet shows up carrying a man who is claiming to be Sub-Zero, which Liu Kang immediately calls bullshit because he had watched Scorpion kill Sub-Zero himself. Sub-Zero's dead, so he's not Sub-Zero. But turns out this is actually Sub-Zero's younger brother. He's replacing the Sub-Zero, and he's going to be trying to complete Sub-Zero's mission of assassinating Shang Tsung. The reason that he came to the temple was that they detected a portal opening up, and he had feared that Goro had won the tournament, and that the portal was the sign of the coming Outworld invasion. So he managed to have these surveillance pictures that he showed to Liu Kang, and it proved that it was Shang Tsung that had attacked the temple, and that his next target was going to be Johnny Cage. So Kung Lao, Sub-Zero, and Liu Kang all aboard the hoverjet, and they start to make their way towards Hollywood. So we've got Jax going to Hollywood, we've got Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, and Kung Lao going to Hollywood, we've got Johnny Cage in Hollywood. So now we are at the set of Johnny Cage's next movie, Cage Colognes, blockbuster. It's an amazing film with an amazing name. And as they're filming it on the set, in the middle of a scene, a portal opens up behind Johnny Cage, and out steps Shang Tsung, Katana, Melina, Kentaro, Baraka, and a whole bunch of other warriors. Now, shit's about to hit the fan. It's about to escalate pretty quick, so just bear with me for a minute, okay? So first we've got, out in the lobby, we've got Jax trying to talk to a lady at the desk, and letting him go back to the set of the film, but she won't let him because he doesn't have a warrant. But as they're talking, Johnny Cage comes crashing through the wall. Jax sees him and tries to explain that, hey, we got a message from Sonya. She's trapped in Outworld, this and that and this and that. Johnny Cage is like, look out, Jax, that's Shang. And then Shang Tsung hits Jax with this big old blast of energy, sends him flying. And then this prompts Jax's partner to pull out his little gun and start shooting because bullets are gonna hurt Shang Tsung apparently. And then, anyways, after that, he orders Baraka to attack Johnny Cage, and they're fighting. And then after Jax finally recovers from that blast, he goes after Kentaro, and they're boxing. They're fighting. And then dude is still shooting his gun at Shang Tsung. And this annoys Shang Tsung to the point that he tells Melinda to go kill the human with the annoying weapon. And he orders Katana to go help Baraka with Johnny Cage. So everybody's fighting. Everybody's fireballs. People are getting punched and kicked, and shit's getting broke. And then all of a sudden, Jax and Kintaro, they crash through the wall and end up in the parking lot just as the hover jet carrying Kung Lao, Liu Kang, and Sub-Zero arrives. And Liu Kang doesn't recognize Jax. He doesn't recognize Kintaro, but he knows that Kintaro is one of them big old four-armed Shokans, just like Goro. So he knows that Kintaro is a problem. So whoever's fighting him is going to need help. So they decide that they tell the Smoke, the that's driving the plane, to circle around twice. And then Johnny Cage and Kung Lao jump out to help, while Sub-Zero says he's going to try to get him from behind. And so when Liu Kang and when Liu Kang and Kung Lao land to help Jax fight Kintaro, Shang Tsung sees him and he stops the fight because the champion's here. He can issue the challenge now. So he's trying to issue this challenge, trying to challenge them to the new Mortal Kombat. But as he starts to speak, Sub-Zero attacks from behind. But his attack is blocked by what is apparently nothing to begin with until Reptile makes himself visible. And it's Reptile. He is, whatever. But he's the one that blocked Sub-Zero's attack on Shang Tsung. And then as Reptile squares up to fight Sub-Zero, this spear on a rope comes flying out of nowhere and hits him in the chest. And yes, boys and girls, Scorpion has arrived. So Scorpion informs Reptile that the life of the Lin Kuei is not his to take. He will decide when he lives, or if he lives and if he dies. And that he had returned with a new mission to devote himself to protecting this Sub-Zero after killing his brother. So Reptile and Scorpion are about to fight, right? So that doesn't happen because all of a sudden this lightning blast comes out of nowhere, and then Raiden is there. And Raiden basically just tells Shang Tsung, like, look, dude, you're not welcome here. This fight is taking place outside of the tournament. The gods are going to be pissed off if you keep on doing this. You better tell me what you want to tell me, or tell me why you're here, and then you need to leave, or I'm going to kill you. Pretty much sums up what he tells to him, or what he says to him. So Shang Tsung's like, look, I came to challenge you guys with these immortals to Mortal Kombat. Accept it or forfeit, it's up to you. And then he goes back to Outworld. Now, Liu Kang is confused because he just defeated Shang Tsung, so why does he have to fight them again? And Raiden explains to him that he has to defend his title. This is not just a one fight, a one victory, and it's over with. It's a continuous, ongoing battle that will rage forever and ever until one side wins. So he's got to defend it. And not doing so would hurt the status of the realm in the eyes of the elder gods, and that's not a good thing. And it would also unbalance the fears, which would help to make it easier for Shao Kahn himself to come to Earth, and that's like what we don't want to happen at this point. So Liu Kang's like, all right, so let's go. So then Raiden's like, so Jax and Sub-Zero, you guys gonna come with us to Outworld to defend your realm? And Jax is like, well, I gotta ask my partner first. And Johnny's like, dude, I found his hat over here next to this pile of bones. And then Jax is like, yeah, let's go to Outworld. I'm in. So there we have it. We've got Raiden, we have got Liu Kang, we've got Kung Lao, we've got Sub-Zero, we've got Scorpion, and we've got Jax, and we've got Johnny Cage preparing to go to Outworld for a new Mortal Kombat. And that, boys and girls, is just about all we have for this video. Yeah, not much more to say about it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section. I'll answer them the best I can. If you like the video, click like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. But in the next video, we're going to be talking about the backstory of Mortal Kombat 3. So I hope to see you guys then. But until then, you guys have a great rest of your day, all right? Take care.